So the movie starts with Alex, who's a journalist. He was soon to be married and had to travel to New York. But unfortunately, her flight gets canceled and she gets very tensed. At the same time, we are also shown Dr. Brunn, who also had to go to New York for a major surgery. If he had not reached on time, his patient would have died. Alex and Ben were the most upset about the lights being canceled. Seeing them upset, Alex goes to them and helps them. They say, "We both have the same problem and I have the same solution." Being a journalist, she had contacts and knew a private pilot. She says, "Why don't we go to Denver together through that pilot? Let's go too, and from there I will take a flight to New York. And you can go wherever you want to go." It was all very risky. The weather was so bad, all flights were canceled. But the pilot agrees to help them for $800. Alex had Ben join him because she knew that Ben could afford that much money, and thus, the difficulties of both will also become easier. Well, their journey begins, and we see that the pilot had brought his dog along with him. These people would have known about another danger, even at 1:30, that the pilot had not even filed his flight. It was clear that no one knew about his travel by flight. Not even the Air Regulation Authority. Now the danger increases for them when the pilot's health starts deteriorating halfway through. Banning was a doctor, and he discovered the pilot was having a heart attack. The pilot dies instantly of a heart attack, and their plane crashes. Due to the plane crash, his plane was badly damaged. Thankfully, both Ben and Alex were okay after falling through the snow, but both of them were seriously injured. The pilot was dead. So Ben sadly buries her, and then comes to Alex. She bandaged Alex's injuries, but Alex was still unconscious due to weakness. Alex is asleep for several hours, and Ben waits for her to wake up. When Alex regains consciousness, Ben gives her a huge shock. The news reports that almost a day had passed since he fainted. Her wedding day was canceled, where she should have been celebrating today. And today she was in a big trouble. Because he had not registered his flight plan, so no one even knew that their plane had crashed somewhere. That's why no one was going to come to rescue them. People did not have any supplies to survive here. The clothes were the same as what he was wearing, some dry fruits in the name of food. There was a half-eaten sandwich and a few biscuits. These people spend their days sitting in this plane, and we keep wondering, how will these people get out of here? That same day, they see a ray of hope when they hear the sound of a plane. They are very happy. Ben fires his flare gun to send a plane to rescue them. But he was too late to fire the flare gun. The plane had gone far ahead, and their hopes were dashed. He spent 3 days in the hope that someone will come to rescue them. But after 3 days, when there was still no hope, Alex became angry. She decided that she would not stay here any longer and would do something for her survival. But the sister explains to him that your leg is bad. In such a situation, it is not right for you to proceed further. He tries to convince her a lot and finally stops her. Like this, 3 more days pass. When Alex's stubbornness becomes too much, Ben says, "Okay, you won't go out. I'll go out and climb that hill to see what's on the other side. If there is a city ahead, we will definitely move forward." While leaving, Alex also gives him her camera and says that the lens of this camera, you will be able to see farther, and after working so hard, you will climb further. Even if it ever comes to your mind that you should just save yourself, then you should save yourself. Don't think about me, because today you are in this trouble only because of me. The bane here is that if I had to leave you, I would have done so many days ago. Saying this, he climbs the hill, and there he finds a... And the worst part is that there were mountains all around here. Snowy mountains, with no sign of any human settlement anywhere. Now when Ben started coming back, suddenly his brother, he slipped and started sliding down the hill. There was a huge ditch below. If he had fallen down, he would not have survived. But luckily he gets saved as his foot hits a stone. He tries to climb higher and higher. Meanwhile, it is shown in the plane that the pilot's dog, which was with them, started barking. Lex understood that there must be something around this plane. There is some danger. When she looks out of the window, she realizes that there is a leopard there. Due to her leg being damaged, she could not even escape from here, but here the dog shows his loyalty and goes out on his own to save Alex, and also He wounds the leopard, after which the leopard also came inside the broken plane to kill Alex. Alex had this time flare. She hugs him 2-3 times and shoots him and saves her life by killing him. She comes. Hearing the gunshot, Ben also understood that something very wrong had definitely happened there. He runs to the plane and becomes even more frightened when he sees blood lying there. Once inside the plane, he sees Alex. She was perfectly fine. The blood was actually leap pads. He is overjoyed to see Alex is okay and here, but the leopard that had bitten his dog on the neck injured him. The sister also stitches him with the help of the first aid kit available here, and then these people, today they prepare their food from the body of that dead leopard, and after many days they eat it to their heart's content. Alex then tells Ben again, "Look, my phone is out of signal. You go down a hill or two, maybe you'll get a signal on your phone." I say, "I'm not gonna do this again. I was almost killed last time too. I hope someone will come here to pick us up." But Alex says, if it were meant to be, it would have happened days ago. Here they keep arguing, and finally the sister gets angry and goes to sleep, saying that I too am in this trouble only because of you. Alex takes this to heart and leaves in the morning before Ben wakes up. Ben wakes up to find a letter from Eric's, in which she wrote that I am taking the dog with me, and if I get any help down there, I will definitely send it to you. Hearing all this, Ben also starts panicking and leaves he packs up and follows Alex because he knows it was believed that Alex would not be able to go very far because of her injured leg. Alex just looks behind his back and sees his hands. They become more emotional, and both of them hug each other. Eventually, a bond began to form, and they continued to walk together for quite some time. Alex, who was now exhausted and walking entirely on her own due to her leg injury, even after going a long distance, they find nothing except a cave, a bar where they decide to spend the night. Today they had food for 3 days and knew that they had to, whatever needs to be done for survival, needs to be done in the next 3 days only, because luck will not favor them again and again, and they will not get such food and survive. It would be very difficult to do this. It was very cold in this cave. These people even lit a fire, but even this was not enough to pass the night. The two become very close to each other. To keep each other alive, they start their journey again the next day. Finally, these people came out of the snowy area and reached a place which was a forest, and there was a valley here. And it was so beautiful. Alex, a generalist, found it all so beautiful. She starts taking his pictures, and then she feels in the camera that somewhere far away, there's something like a tower. It must have been built by humans, and there are more chances of humans coming there. These people decide to go in that direction, and while walking, Alex begins to ask Ben some personal questions about himself, like about her marriage, and all these questions are ignored by the sister. Well, when these people walk, they reach a long distance. Then they realize that the path ahead is already closed. There was a ditch ahead, and if he had climbed down from the ditch, he would surely have died. Seeing this, Alex was now completely hopeless. She asks her sister, "Do you still hope that we will be saved?" Alex also says, "I think we're going to die, but if we are still alive and have courage, if so, we should try to save ourselves." These people start walking back towards another route, and it becomes night while they are walking. He had to spend this night here also. I can hardly get some snow from the ground, but he does, and people break a tree and make shade under it to spend the night. When morning came, they realized their dog was missing. But thankfully, they were alive, and Alex was still worried about Doug. She tells Ben to find the dog, and poor Ben has to agree to this even though he doesn't want to. When he sets out to find the dog, his luck runs out. He finds a cottage there. In fact, this was the same cottage that Alex had seen on his camera. He becomes very happy and starts checking out the cottage. Before this one brings the Valex here, there the ground beneath Alex begins to shake, and he realizes that the ground beneath him, but it was lake, and she was about to break down. She calls out loud to Ben, and by the time Ben reached there, Alex had started drowning and was rubbing her hands and feet to herself to identify him. And then Ben arrives and risks his life to pull him out of the ditch. Ben picks her up and quickly brings her into the cottage, taking off her clothes and all, and he lights a fire here. In this winter, because of the cold water, it burns very much. I was sick. He was not even conscious. I knew that if he did not regain consciousness, he could die. His body was dehydrated, and thus there were chances of him going into coma. He now checks the entire cottage to see if he can do anything with it. Here he gets a syringe to extract snake venom. There he finds a snake venom extractor kit. It had a pin inside, just like an IV drip. He plans to use this to save X's life. Even though he knows it's poisonous, it could be poisoned, putting Alex's life in even greater danger. But if there was a possibility of death, why not try and die? Thinking this, he melts the snow here. He makes it into water and then washes that sling thoroughly. Through this, he slowly pours water into Alex's body. Alex was fortunate to have a doctor with him this time, and his efforts throughout the night saved Alex's life. The next day, Alex finally regains consciousness, and seeing this, Ben feels relieved. All his efforts were successful. Anyway, they spent a few days comfortably in this cottage. At least it was a little less cold here. There was also some food and drink, which saved their lives. A good bond began to develop between the two, and now even Alex began to feel close to Ben. A strange feeling started coming to her. She wanted to know about Ben now, so whenever he went out, she would start listening to his recorder. His wife's voice would be playing on his recorder. One day, when Ben catches him, he gets very angry. But here Alex explains to him that she wants to know him. Although she also knows that this is not the right way to know him, well, Bambi now considers him her own. He tells me about his wife who died 2 years ago due to a brain tumor, and his sister loved him very much. He becomes emotional here, and Alex becomes his support. They spend a few more days together here, until Alex gets better. And that's because she wasn't well. First, she tells Ben to leave alone and go get help. Otherwise, neither of us will survive. Ben even ventured out alone once, but realized he couldn't live without Alex. So he went back and brought Alex. Alex was weak, moving slowly, but Ben refuses to give up on her, and when Alex finally gets tired, even after falling, the sister does not leave his side and gives Alex a wooden stick. He lays it on the wood, ties it with a rope, and starts dragging it forward. They go a long way, and eventually Ben gets tired. They both lie down, and when morning comes, their dog tries to wake them up. But because Ben had no strength in his body at all, with just this push, he falls down tumbling. He would have died here, but fate thought it was a good thing. Because Ben saw a settlement below, he was very happy and started moving forward with Alex. Both of them were happy. They felt that now their lives would be saved. But then, Ben gets his foot caught in a bear trap. He definitely gets stabbed inside his foot, and the reason for such an injury in such cold weather, the sister becomes distressed and tells Alex to go and get help. She didn't want to leave him like this, and she knew that if she got help quickly, if you don't call him, the bear will surely come here and eat him. He will reach the hills with great difficulty. When she comes down from the train, all her strength gets exhausted, and by the time she reaches the road, she falls down. The last time she saw a truck coming, but then we are not shown what happened afterward. Ben had also fainted, and when he regained consciousness, so he was inside the hospital, which means both of them were actually rescued, and both of them, only his life was saved. His luck and courage supported him. Ben wakes up in the hospital, despite his illness, and comes to Alex and happily says, "We survived." Alex tells her too. Yes, they survived. Then Ben notices that at this time, Alex has his fiancée was there, so this time he thanks Ben for saving Alex's life. Ben and Alex then part ways. Ben thought about calling Alex several times, but she didn't tell him because she thought Alex might be married. Even Ben didn't receive any of Alex's calls. Then one day, Alex sends her some pictures. The pictures he made inside that cottage. Seeing these pictures, Ben is deeply moved and agrees to meet her. At first, Alex gets angry at him, saying, "Why were you not picking up my calls, etc." I say, "Not because you are married. She's gone, and I don't want to disturb your life." Here, Alex reveals to him the big truth that she never did, although she loved her fiancé very much. But after this trip, she was no longer able to have those feelings for her fiancé. Ben is overjoyed to hear that she now had feelings for him. Finally, they both meet, and both of them, showing them together, this becomes the happy ending of this movie.